As you guys probably have been following news, know that it's been a very difficult few weeks in this country, but more than that, worldwide. It just seems like the intensity of negativity has increased to proportions that we can't even begin to describe. And I'm sure that every one of you, if you take time to just analyze it, you would ask, well, what's going on in the world? Is this going to lead to our ultimate destruction? Is this going to bring chaos? How is this going to affect me? The more I begin to analyze it and look and see what the sages of blessed memory, look at Rabbi Nachman of Brislov, and many different great sages of Judaism, what the Gemara says about the end of days, we know that this is supposed to happen. We know that this is supposed to happen. I would even go further to say that it might become much more darker before we have more light. The Rebbe says that a little bit of light dispels all the darkness. A little bit of light. It says, according to the Midrashim, that in the end of age, the end of days, it will become so dark and the tzaddikim will be so spread out that it will seem like that the darkness is beyond us. But every tzaddikim in the world, every place that this righteous person is, and wherever the righteous neshamas are, these divine sparks are, they are dispelling the light where they're at. And we have a very important role in the world today as the Jewish community, as well as the Bnei Noach / Ger, whatever you want to call them, the righteous non-Jew. And that is to bring about a level of truth in a world of denial. We have to bring a level of clarity in a world of chaos. Ira and I had a long discussion about this the other day, and we're talking about how the world seems to be in such a chaotic place that they wouldn't know the truth if it hit them in the kisser, right? They just wouldn't know it. Why is it that we're in such a dark place? It seems that Hashem, according to the sages, has saved all of the souls that needed to be saved for the end of days, that must be here at the end of days, to struggle and to work the hardest to achieve the highest level. Because when they were here before, they schlepped it off. Didn't matter to them. It wasn't important. They carried about their life as if the world was their oyster. And never did they take time to consider improving themselves. And so every one of us have been born in a very chaotic world. I was just thinking of today. I grew up in a place where we didn't lock the doors. I mean, we didn't lock the doors for years. We slept with windows open all night, right? I wouldn't think of leaving a child on a ground floor level with a window open in a neighborhood. Things have changed, and things have changed dramatically. And I'm not talking about the kind of change that I can remember my father, when he was here of blessed memory, would talk about how he went to school with, he had shoes with no leather on the bottom, and he walked uphill both ways in the snow to get to school. He told me about how it was different when he was a young man. But we cannot even comprehend the level that we have gone to. When individuals can go to a nightclub for an evening out and have to fear for their life, we're living in a chaotic world. When African Americans go to church in Alabama, Mississippi, or Georgia, and they have to be in fear of the next guy that walks to the front door wanting to attend the Bible study as to whether he will kill them, we're living in an upside-down world. We're living in a world in which we don't even know what our politicians are going to do next. We can't predict it. We can't judge it. As a matter of fact, I don't care if it's on the right or the left. It doesn't matter. We don't know what's going to happen. The reason why is the Yetzer, that is the evil inclination, is in full charge of most people in the world that we live in. Completely full in charge. So what is the answer? Sure, we could go on long rants about Second Amendment and First Amendment, which I'm a vehement guardian of our constitutional rights. But that's not the problem. The problem isn't homosexuality, lesbians, gays. It isn't conservative. It isn't liberal. The problem is within us all. The problem is within us all. And I will be the first one to say that until I quit lying to myself and you quit lying to yourself, the closer, the quicker that we will come to reality of who God really is in our life. The problem is that we want to pump ourselves up and say, well, I'm all right, God's all right, He thinks I'm all right. And the only thing wrong with the world around me is everybody else. It has nothing to do with me. Everybody else needs to fix their problems. Surely, I can't fix the world. I can't solve world terrorism. I cannot solve the tensions between political parties. I can't solve the tension between those who are vehemently against homosexuality and feel that they should all be killed or beheaded, and those who want to be in a homosexual relationship. I can't solve all that. What I can do is solve the conflict between my Yetzer Hara, my evil inclination, and my good inclination, because both of them equally have the power to operate in my life, because the Creator of the universe put them there for one reason, and that is to give us the idea of free choice, to give us the ability to choose. And if I will quit lying to myself and be honest, I can say, you know what, as much as I wish the world would change and become better, I need to change and become better. This week has made me so conscious and aware of humanity. I think at some level I had become slightly deaf and dumb to the world around me. I think society itself has made me a bit deaf and dumb. Why? Because it's probably the workings of a normal male, that I cope with things by shutting down. You understand? We cope with things by putting it back in the little secret place. And in reality, I could drive down the road and see someone in need and ignore it. I could see someone who needed a smile and not pay attention to it, because I had my own little world to live in. And this week, something happened within me. I woke up. Maybe it's because I've become soft in my older age, and I've had my grandchildren, and my grandson and granddaughters have broken down that hard shell and given me lots of love, and I'm just turning into a gushy old man. But we rode today this week, we went to Walmart with my grandchildren, and we pulled up. The first thing I see is a woman there who's weathered, like an American Indian weathered. Her skin was just extremely red. Her clothes tattered, worn, and dirty. And my heart broke, because I'm thinking she's out in this 108-degree temperature. And immediately my wife got out and asked her if she could buy her something. And she says, no, I'm fine. I'll have me a drink. And I think my wife gave her some money to take care of her, and she disappeared right after. I went to the gas station to get some gas, and I see a family pull up. And it was a mother and two children, two daughters. And my heart leapt within me to appreciate God's creation and how wonderful He is to have beautiful, good people in the world. You see, I have become so focused on the negative aspects of the world that I've forgotten that the Creator of the universe is the master conductor. He stands before the concert hall of humanity and creation, and He's guiding every aspect of creation. All the negative, all the positive, all of the notes that I don't necessarily hear, even the notes that might sound a little sour to me, the conductor is conducting. He's doing an amazing job. And I've got my eyes on what I don't like. And I'm saying this because this is something deep within me that had to change. And I hope by vocalizing this negative aspect of myself that I want to improve, that I help others to be able to look at the positive side. Our beloved Rabbi Avraham ben Yaakov, or Rabbi Greenbaum, wrote, I think it was right before Shabbos, he posted an article about the Israeli arms industries making millions of dollars in Europe. And I posted on the bottom, wow, that means that we're going to have more, more farming utensils in the world in the Messianic era. That's the difference, is quit putting our eyes and focusing on all the negativity and begin to focus on something that is positive. And I'm not talking about being, what's the word for it, naive? Going around the world, everything's, colored purple and blue and everything looks great. It's not about that. It's about the fact that being pragmatic about the world that I live in. I am going to be aware of my environment. I do want to protect those people who are part of our community. I want to be protective of those people who are underprivileged in the world. At the same time, I realize I am powerless to do anything but to do one thing, and that is to watch the conductor's hands. And when he points to me, I must be willing to sound my note. Sometimes it might be one single note. It might be one small drum beat. That's my part. You see, I don't have to worry about playing your part. I don't have to worry about playing Rabbi Greenbaum's part. I don't have to worry about playing Rob Drawer's part. I just have to play my part. How do I know my part? The only way that I can know my part is through hitzbadadut, personal prayer, and being honest with myself. And say, you know what, Hashem, this is who I am. This is who I am. Yeah, it's a little flawed. Needs some work. But this is who I really am. These are my interests. And how can my interests actually serve you? These are the things that make me excited about living in this world. How can I take these things that make me excited and turn them into something positive to do for you? You see, some musicians will wait for almost the entire song before they can play one note. You never know when your note's going to come. But until then, you have to practice as if you're playing the whole piece. You have to spend hours upon hours in a studio in your home looking at the chart and listening to this song playing over and over and meditating on it and practicing with precision what you have to do. So is hitzbadadut, personal prayer, means that you may not strike the mother lode in great theological download, but all you need to do is be prepared to study and pray. Seek Hashem and be honest with yourself and say, you know what? The reason why I'm not at the number one, I don't know if you're familiar with band. Anybody familiar with band? You're familiar? You have, the number one position in a seat. He gets to play the hardest one in number two, number three, and down to the guy who can't hardly play. He's down at the very end, right? And all of us have a position in what you're supposed to do. And it is not you to decide, well, why am I not number one? The reason why you're not number one is the conductor has not chosen you to be number one. At the same time, you have an important role, and that is to play the seat that you're supposed to play. So you walk into that saying, I am responsible for me. I am responsible to know my part. Though it might be only a couple of notes, I'm responsible for me. And I cannot expect someone else to learn my part for me. Somebody else cannot be responsible for me. I have to be responsible for me. And in being transparent and honest toward the Creator of the universe, we can change our lives and we can be better prepared for Geulah, which is redemption. Because, my friend, redemption's coming. When the chief rabbi of Israel says that Mashiach is here, he just has not been announced by Eliyahu, Hanavi. That's not something you just throw around. He also said the Bnei Noach will be the only ones besides the Jewish people be allowed to live in Israel when the Mashiach comes. Why mention that? Why even mention it? It's not important if that we're not close to redemption. Yes?
Are you saying that the chief rabbi of Israel said Mashiach?
Yes.
When was this?
About 6 days ago, 5 days ago.
Sephardic or Ashkenazi?
I can't tell you. I don't know. Yeah, I've got the articles I can send to you. So the point is, We're here. Redemption's close. Now, I don't even think we need to worry about what's that going to look like and how's it going to be. I think it's none of our business. Remember, the conductor's in charge. He's the one that gets the last crescendo. We just have to be prepared to play the note when it's our time. So all we need to be worried about is, okay, Hashem, what am I supposed to do? I'll apply myself. I'll study. I'll bring improvements on my midot, my character. I'll change the things that I know I need to change. I can't change other people. It's not my job to change other people. It's not my job to judge other people. It's my job to judge myself and to change myself. We do that, and we will be an incredible light in a dark place. Incredible light in a dark place. There is a concept, and I've mentioned it before, I think I mentioned it last week or Wednesday, is that Hashem has hidden within the nations hidden sparks. You are those hidden sparks. And now it's time to fan the flame of those sparks. Just as we read in this parsha about the menorah being lit, and it says, let the light rise, let it rise. So it's time to start lighting the spiritual menorah in your inner temple. Find out where the inner temple is. Brush all the cobwebs back. Start offering incense to the Hashem in prayer. Light the menorah in your heart. A fire burning for Hashem, a fire burning for Kol Israel, a fire burning for the nations, and God will change your life. And the call that I got this morning from the rabbi that is conducting the Bnei Noach group in South Africa. Yes, I had to make sure I was at South Africa. Officially wants to become a NETIV and will sign the paperwork this week. This is an amazing time we live in. We live in an amazing time. And I just want to encourage you, and may those who watch this video go from strength to strength and be encouraged in the knowledge that you are making a difference in the world, even though you feel like you're alone and by yourself. You are making a difference in the world. And that concludes this your